Welcome to this program. If you're coming here, you probably are coming because you yourself feel like you need some help, or you want some knowledge, you want some kind of guidance or advice, because you yourself may be suffering from an addiction or a very bad habit, or you're looking for help for someone else, or you're here just out of interest. Maybe you want the help yourself, or maybe someone is asking you to help yourself. So whatever the reason that you're coming here for, first of all, I want to congratulate you. That's an awesome thing that you've done. It's a big step, and it is definitely the most important step, is to just put your foot in the door. Actually, then you've done um, a big thing by doing this, actually, because now, before, you were by yourself, 100% alone, by yourself, trying to figure things out on your own. And sometimes the answer is just not there, by yourself. You know, if we took different areas of our life and we tried to do everything by ourselves, well, we would be in a very bad situation. Imagine you did that with your physical health, your medical health. Sometimes you have to reach out and you have to get other people's expertise. In fact, most of the time, all of the knowledge that we have, it's coming from shared knowledge from other people who have gone through the same experience and can relay their wisdom to us who have studied it. So the same way you wouldn't hesitate to seek the expert for your physical health, for example, your medical health, seeking the expertise of a nutritionist or a medical doctor, or someone else in this in a related field. The same way, you know you shouldn't just leave yourself to battle this addiction on your own, to try to free yourself from this addiction on your own. And most people, who do try to do it on their own, if they're not successful, um, you know, let's say if you're not successful, and you've tried over and over, then you really do, and you should learn from others, seek that help. So you should be, very happy, uh, proud of yourself in a good way, and grateful, that you're able to take this step. So this first portion will be about obstacles that are in the way from you getting help, and that you have to change certain mindsets that are blocking you, certain things that are preventing you from getting the help you need. You know, we discussed it just a little bit already, with the whole blockage in people's way of thinking about getting help for addictions. If we think of it like medical health, then it would be much easier, definitely. So there's an obstacle right there that we've covered. Now, right now, we're going to talk about four major obstacles. And for the whole program, I hope to deliver the very best knowledge and information from my experiences, my knowledge, my studies, um, from my life, that I've learned, that have helped me, and I've seen help many, many other people. I'm trying to relay that to you in a very succinct way, in a very detailed and succinct way, both, so that you won't have any doubts anymore what you need to do. And much of the time too, it's not about finding the perfect solution, finding the perfect choice to make, but it's about making a choice, and with good knowledge. Okay, find good knowledge, make a choice to follow it, and it's more about what you do after you make the choice. It's not so much about what choice you make. And this is true for all, aspects of life. Yes, do the research, find some good choices, and then pick one, right? Pick one, and then it's more about what you do after the choice that will determine the benefit that you get. So I hope to give you the most essential things in this program. So without further ado, let's just talk about the four major obstacles. And right now in this section, we're going to talk about the first obstacle. Okay. So you can see, just like in this background picture here, that, there's something that's keeping you stuck, let's say, in this dungeon of harmful addictions. And this brick wall is like blocking your way. And now we're going to kick down this brick wall by discussing these four obstacles. So the first obstacle, as you can see here, it is the unwise curiosity, your unwise curiosity. Okay, so what do we mean by that? Um, well, everyone has curiosity, and there's nothing wrong with curiosity. It's a wonderful thing, it's a necessary emotion, and it brings about all sorts of amazing benefits and qualities to human life, right? But in this, emotion cannot just be unlimited, right? You have to use your wisdom, your intelligence. You have to use your god-given intelligence to regulate your curiosity. And not just your curiosity, in reality you have to use your intelligence to direct and regulate and protect yourself from all your emotions, right? If we were just run on emotions, this world would be very chaotic, and your life would be chaotic. Similarly, curiosity will lead to chaos, right? Unless you hone it in with wisdom. And too often we just give in to these emotions. And so, unwise curiosity is really obstacle number one. Why? Because the problem with curiosity is that, number one, it started the problem, right? This is where maybe the addiction began. Most people would say that the reason why they got addicted, and it can be different, obviously, for different people, but usually it didn't start because you're trying to relieve yourself, let's say, from uh, depression, and that was your sole focus. Usually there was this curiosity, yes, and even curiosity: is this going to relieve my depression? Is this going to make me happy? Is this going to give me enjoyment? Am I going to like this? Will I have fun? Will I become really good friends with some people who are using this too? Many different curious things that we want to fulfill. That's what starts the problem, right? How does it feel? What does it feel to be high, to be drunk, etc., right? So this emotion leads a person to try something, and it starts the problem. Now the problem another problem with curiosity is, once you give in to curiosity and you use, for example, any harmful substance, or um, something that is a bad habit, right? The problem is, if it's good, if it's enjoyable, if it's pleasurable, if it relieves your anxiety and gives you some happiness, if it gives you temporary peace, if it does any of these things, you're going to want more of it. You're going to want more of it, and you will feel like you need more as well. Emotionally, you're going to feel like it's a need, almost, even though it's not a need, but you will feel like it. You will feel like, I need this. I'm irritated. I'm not, I want to do this again, right? So this is an issue. You will Now you've started the problem. You've given into your curiosity. You've taken, let's say, that first hit of marijuana, and now you feel like all of the pleasurable symptoms of marijuana. You feel the high, you feel the pleasure, you feel the euphoria, you feel the dissociation, it's fulfilling your curiosity, it's enjoyable, um, and whatever other benefits a person can get as well from it. There will be the harms as well, the side effects, which will increase with time. But you are going to find this this thing that's good, that feels good, and you're going to want more. You're going, and eventually you're going to feel like you need it more and more and more. So this is a problem with curiosity, right? And also, over time, you will develop tolerance, right? You will literally need more to get the same effect. So, and all of this, could have been prevented if you never did the thing in the first place. You would never have had these cravings. All of this is just started because you opened the door. If you never opened the door, you wouldn't know what you're missing. You wouldn't want more or need more because you don't know the feelings that you'd be missing. You don't know what the experience was, so you would never want more. You would never need more. It wouldn't bother you, actually, and it wouldn't become this crutch or this need. Now you become more needy person, impoverished, right? So, and then the third problem with curiosity is that, well, you maybe, you're curious. Oh, am I going to really like this thing? I wonder how it feels. Well, if, let's say, it feels really good, that's not a good thing. It feels really good, but that's not a good thing. You've basically just discovered your greatest weakness, right? You've discovered the thing that you like so very much, that is so enjoyable, gives you such euphoria or confidence or whatever that is, fun, whatever it is, right? You've discovered now, especially if you like it the most, you like it more than anything. Well, you've discovered your greatest weakness, the thing which is now going to, you're constantly going to want and need, right? And now it's going to follow you, right? And it never really just all of a sudden just jumps on you. Sometimes it does, but it what happens is it builds up over time. You start thinking about it like, okay, I'll do it again next month. Okay, I'll do it again next month. I'll do it again next week. I'll do it again, every other week. I'll do it again, and then it keeps going more. I'll do it again every week. Okay, and then all of a sudden, some years go by, and you're doing it every day. And this can happen much sooner, or it can happen more prolonged. But eventually, that's the progression. Once you discover something you really like and enjoy, you're gonna want to keep having more of that, right? So you discovered a weakness, actually, that's gonna follow you throughout your life. um, you know if you're not, if you don't deal with it, and you have to learn how to deal with it, which also takes a lot of time and practice, right? So what are the solutions? The solution, hey, look at this owl. The solution is be like this owl. Okay. um, Sometimes people, they consider owls are wise for some reason, right? So it does look like a wise animal. So be like this owl, and from afar, look at things, use your wisdom, use your intelligence, and consider, before jumping into something, consider it. Is this wise? Will I discover something that I really like and will become my weakness? Are there many harms involved in this? You know, what the other people's experience with this? Is everybody okay after they do this thing, or if they use this thing? Or many people have suffered because of this. If you have to use your intelligence and think, is it really a good deal? And if your intelligence is telling you no, then it's easy at the curiosity stage, much easier to just say, I pass. I pass. I'm good. I don't need to try this thing. Much easier, because you're just dealing with this one emotion, this one pull right now of curiosity. Much easier to pass up on that. And if you're not able to pass up on that, what are the chances now that these other emotions that will enter into you once you've tried the substance or the behavior, what's what's the chances that you will be able to pass up on those emotions, those desires, those things that come after, which are much stronger, right? So you have to be, it doesn't mean it's easy to always pass up your curiosity about every little thing, especially when, even when it comes to, whatever it is, right? It's not always going to be easy, but it's necessary. And you have to realize the importance of this, right? You have to realize the importance of this. Now you might be asking, why are we even talking about this? Because I already have this problem, I already have this addiction, I already have this thing. True, but you want to learn how it started. You want to make sure that you don't progressively make it worse through your curiosity, that you don't try more things and new things and things to substitute this addiction as you try to move away from it and become free from it. You don't want to now substitute it. You don't want to um, add more onto it, because it doesn't just end with starting the substance. It progressively, keep using your curiosity to get yourself into further and further trouble, burying yourself deeper into this addiction, enslavement, and this addiction monster, right? So what are the solutions? Solution number one: realize that less is more in this life. So this is the real wisdom, right? If you want a wonderful life, more things are not going to make your life more, right? And sometimes maybe you hear this and you still go ahead and you try to chase after all of these pleasures of this world and materialistic things and all of these pseudo experiences and things like that, thinking that you're enhancing your life. But when it comes to these pleasurable activities that are just superficial pleasurable activities, these things that we get addicted to a lot of times, different things, less is more in that respect. When it comes to the things that we consider the tempting things of this world, the life of this world, those things, less is much more. Because if you remember what we just said, that you're going to discover your weaknesses. So having less weaknesses in life is much better for your life. Having less feeling of needing something and wanting something in this world is better for your worldly life. It's better for you, right? So you become more rich in reality. You become richness of the heart. You become content. You become more easy to be pleased and happy. So imagine, like, for example, all of the very, let's say, very wealthy people, they get used to that lavish lifestyle of luxury, having a maid do everything, and maybe having a big, even bathroom is, you know, made of gold, something like this. People out there, begin to feel like they need these things. They can't live without them. They feel bad and less than, because if they don't have all of this height of luxury and things like that, because they get used to it and they start wanting it and needing it. So in reality, those people will have a very difficult time in life, right? Less is more in reality, right? So that's the first solution. True richness is in having is in doing less of these things, actually. Okay. um, number two solution: realize which one is greater. Pleasure greater, or is peace greater? So again, remember, in this world, and think about it yourself, what do you think is greater in this world? Is it greater to have pleasure, or is it greater to have peace, right? And just take a second and just think about it. What do you think would be better for you? What do you think you yourself would truly like more? And the answer if you're truthful with yourself and you really analyzed it properly, the answer is peace, of course, right? So understand this more deeply, solidify this truth within you, that peace is what you should be aiming for, what you should be after. Again, like this wise owl, always consider in all situations, is this good for my peace? Will this be good for my long term peace? And for example, um, they've done studies on these things that children who don't have rules in their households, they're not at peace. They're very anxious. They are depressed. They don't feel safe. They don't feel good. Even if, let's say, a child is getting everything he asks for, all the candy and all the TV he wants to watch, he's getting those things because children, they're just 100% emotional, right? They don't have the intelligence developed, and they don't they're not able to understand these things, so they just go with their emotions. And if parents allowed them to do that, giving them candy, sweets whenever they wanted to, and whatever else they wanted, the child thinks it's going to be wonderful. But the reality is, those children become depressed, those children become anxious, those children feel unsafe, they feel unprotected, they feel they rules give you peace and safety and type of regularity, right? That makes you feel more in control, makes you feel safer, and it's an emotional need as well. you know so as long as you stay within the bounds that keep you safe, then you'll be at peace. But if something is going to harm your safety, so obviously all substances, drugs and alcohol, and many, many, all of these bad behaviors, things which are harmful to you, harmful to other people, these things will threaten your peace and your safety. So even if they're pleasurable, they're not actually what you want. you know the real you, the full, wholesome you, in reality doesn't want it. And if you think that you want it, then you're actually mistaking yourself for your emotions, for your emotional self and your desires. You're much more than that. The real you doesn't just want pleasure only. No, it wants peace, actually. Yes, it wants all the pleasure in the world too, but it also wants all the peace in the world. And um, you can't have peace if all you're doing is going after pleasure. So peace has to be the priority, because if you go after peace and peace is your priority, then many, many pleasures will come along with it too. As long as it's within that bounds, it's within the bounds in that safety circle, right? And you're doing things which are not harmful, then yes, you can enjoy many different pleasures of this world and be very content with those. You won't be doing these very high dopamine activities that make you need more and want more and feel discontent, and really, it's like a poverty, right? And then you have all these weaknesses. No, if you stay within the bounds, your life in this world will actually be maximally the best it can be. You will have the most peace, and you will have many pleasures as well in this world, in which you can really enjoy them in a peaceful state without worry. Okay? So peace is greater. Number three is realize that curiosity killed the cat. Okay? For a reason, the saying curiosity killed the cat, right? A very common saying. Yes, there's a reason you shouldn't be, it's teaching you shouldn't be overly curious. You have to temper it with wisdom, because literally, this is what happens with addictions, right? These addictions, we think, oh, I'm going to give in to this because I'm curious how it feels. And then once you give in to it, it's pleasurable. And you think, you tell yourself in your mind that in the future, I'm not going to keep doing this, right? But you already took some of the poison, right? And if you were wise and you listen to the wisdom of others, you would realize that many people get trapped when it comes to these addictive things, when it comes to these highly pleasurable things, many people get trapped. Many people suffer as a result. Most people, they do for some time, you know. So you're going to harm yourself. If not kill yourself, you will definitely harm yourself, harm your relationships, harm your health, harm your relationship with yourself, harm your relationship with your higher power, with God, and you may kill yourself. You might end up killing yourself. You might end up killing someone else. You might end up, you know, accidentally or purposefully. It might lead down that road, and it has for many people, depending on how severe the addiction is. And you might even kill your soul, which is the greatest harm that there is. So you have to be wise with your curiosity. And don't have this attitude of that, in this world we have to be like the rock stars and these evil musicians and things like that. They say those people are just making money off of you because they're addicted to their money as well, and they're suffering in their life as well. They're not happy in reality. So, number four, be wise and accept the reality. This is the solution as well. Accept the reality of the world. Acceptance is so important. You have to, don't be this overly curious, giving into your emotions all the time type of being. You have to be wise and you have to accept the reality of what the world is that you're living in. This world is temporary. It's not going to last forever, right? This world, you're going to die eventually, right? And this world has limits to it. It has some very real, serious limits to it, because many of these activities that you are curious and wish to partake in, they have seriously harmful consequences, right? And you have to accept that. You have to accept that many of these pleasurable activities are really are either just straight up immoral and evil, harmful to others and to yourself, you know, um, or yeah, basically that's really what it is, what it comes down to. You have responsibilities in this life. That's a reality, right? For the sake of your soul, you have responsibilities, right? Um, and your health will suffer, your relationships will suffer. You have all of these responsibilities. This is the reality. So there's the limits. You're also limited in the sense that you can never fulfill your desires in this life, right? And the more you eat, the more you consume, the more you take, the more and more you're going to want, and the less and less you're going to be able to fulfill it. This is another limitation of this world that you have to just accept. You have to accept this reality, um, in this world, in order to have this peace and happiness and live it in the best way to be successful, right? So this is extremely important point number four. Number five, the fifth solution: become curious about who you could become. So all of these first four solutions, is telling you how you have to limit your curiosity. You have to um, realize why you cannot just unleash and do be curious when it comes to everything. Okay, so this fifth solution, this is different than the first four solutions. And the first four solutions, like I said, they are, in order to stop, in order to help you regulate your curiosity. The fifth solution is to tell you where to direct your curiosity. So this is like telling you that, okay, this is don't limit your curiosity. This is expand your curiosity. Limit your curiosity in these four ways, but expand it in this way. This fifth solution, that become curious about who you could become. This is using your curiosity, directing it in the right way, in the way that takes into account your entire self and all your dimensions, actually, not just your desire and emotions, but your whole self, your life, the reality. Become curious about how you can fulfill the purpose of life, how you can fulfill the greatest version of yourself, how you can become the best, because you only have such limited time. If you want to do like an experiment, then, you know, think of an average life, how long that would be. Maybe, let's say if it's 65 years old, right? 70 years old. Imagine that's the maximum. Maybe let's say if you lived that long, you lived a long life, a long and healthy long life, right? So take any of those numbers, whatever you think that is the average uh, lifespan. If and imagine you did live until then. God only knows, but let's say you did live until 65, let's say. And if right now, let's say you're 35, right? And just put, if you have a stopwatch on your phone, just click start and watch the seconds go by. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you're watching the seconds go by, you know, start to think of each year of your life. What you remember from those years. And it's a quick process, and you can do this several times with the stopwatch. But just imagine when you're 1 years old, you don't remember anything, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe that's when you start to remember. And just think about, what did you do in your life? What did you accomplish? Are you happy with how you spent your time? Were you helpful to others? Are you proud of yourself? Did you fulfill your purpose? Think of each of those years. Think of the problems you had. Think of the addiction, and how maybe that was the biggest, um, you know, you can say, like, topic in that time in your life, in that year in your life. So go through all of these seconds, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Maybe that's around the time, you picked up an addiction. And what were the most important things in each of these years? And then when the clock comes to your year of your age, let's say 30, it's 35, press the pause button. Okay. And just think about how you lived your life so far, and think about how long that felt, you know, uh, and in relation to how long the stopwatch took to get to 35 seconds. And then you're going to unpause it and allow the stopwatch to go to, let's say, the age that you picked, which is, let's say, 65. That's the average lifespan. And just think about how you would want to live each of those years as the seconds tick by. Think about, you know, what you would want to accomplish, what you'll probably be busy doing as well. Um, and then, it'll go all the way to 65, and then press pause again. And what this does is it'll give you an idea of how little time we have left, actually, you know, of how little time we have left and how fast it's going to pass us by. Just like life has already passed us by so fast, and we've done so many things, harmful things, and good things too. Um, and how do you want to live the rest of your days? Do I have time really to just waste on these superficial matters? These things are not going to follow me after I die, right? These superficial pleasures, right? These things won't follow me after I die. It'll just come to an abrupt end when I die. Um, you know, so what will actually follow me after I die? You know, think about how you want to live this life and accomplish in this life. What do you want to become? What do you want to do? What kind of beneficial person do you want to be? How do you want to improve your relationship with with God? How do you want to improve your relationship with yourself? and people around you and the world around you? What do you want to give to others? And everyone has something different. And sometimes, and for everyone, actually, we all have to discover more and more what is it that, we were the talents we're blessed with and being blessed with, and how we can share with others, what we can do uh, with those things. Some people are excellent listeners. Some people are good at giving advice. Some people are, very strong physically. Some people are, intellectual, smart. Some people are talented in other ways. Some people are very empathetic, merciful. Some people are more leaders, stronger, these types of things. Think about what you can do, how you can benefit others. So become curious about who you could become, in these different areas of life. And we'll go over more of this as well to make you more curious. But just think about this, like this first section, this is the first obstacle, you know, just to summarize, that this thing is what started the problem. This not having this emotional intelligence when it comes to the motion of curiosity. So, and this is what started the whole package, the whole deal, the whole addiction, and all the problems and the harms. And it will continue to do so unless you change your perspective of it, unless you change your understanding of this, and unless you realize how it needs to be uh, regulated and directed, right? Otherwise, the same things will happen over and over again. So, just to summarize, the problems, really reflect on these, that it started the problem, that it will lead, just giving into curiosity about many, many things will just lead to you wanting and needing more and more and more of those things. And imagine, somebody, let's just take a quick example. Let's say somebody who they want to smoke marijuana, they want to see how it feels like. So they use marijuana, and they like the feeling. Now they're even more curious. I wonder how it will feel like if I do it with this, if I do that, if I try this type of weed, or I do this and that. So now the curiosity is even greater, and the want is even greater, and the you're using it now to, for many emotional reasons, to fulfill, sometimes get peace and relief from anxiety, and just to escape from stress, and just to enjoy, to enhance certain things, pleasures. So you're using it for all of these reasons. Now you are wanting and needing more of it, which leads to these problems, right? Where you have to spend money on this, you have to hide this fact from others, because it's a weakness, and people know it's a weakness, and people know it's related to bad character, and it's a bad thing. Generally speaking, people can imagine what they want in this world about what's right and wrong, but you know most people, uh, they will, even companies and things like that, they won't accept this, right? They won't, even the most immoral and least connected to spiritual things, those types of people, they also will not accept um, people who use these types of substances frequently, and they won't like this either. So it's harmful, and you're going to be spending money. You're going to have to hide it. You're going to be harming your relationships now, with people. It's going to affect your health in negative ways. It's going to affect your motivation, right? There's side effects and consequences to marijuana, which you can look up as well, right? You'll develop tolerance, so you'll need even more and more of it. You'll be using it more and more often. You're becoming more and more dependent on it, rather than becoming independent and strong and learning how to deal with your anxiety and stress, from within, learning how to uh, do all of these things from within. No, now you depend on this external substance. It's become your crutch. It's become your comfort zone, and it's actually, disabling you. And basically, you discovered, if you really, really like this and it becomes this addiction, you discovered your greatest weakness. You discovered your greatest weakness. Now you're failing drug tests, and it's harming your career, and all sorts of problems that come along with it, right? So realize these solutions, realize that less is more in this life. If you didn't, imagine you never had that issue of marijuana use and abuse. Imagine you don't have to go out and look for it and spend money on it and hide it, and you know that it's not, you're not constantly getting all these side effects and harms from it, right? You're not your spirituality is not affected by it because you're not using it. Your physical health is good because you're not using it. Your psychological health is better. You're more strong. You figured out how to deal with many things in life. So less is more, actually. True richness and contentment. You don't feel like you need this thing, and you have more peace in your life. Yes, you have less of this substance. You never got to experience and see what is that like in this world, but you are also, you accepted the reality of this world. You accepted the reality that you can't know everything in this world. You can't try everything in this world. Life is very short. Time is short, right? So you're choosing peace, and you're choosing to enhance your life. So when imagine if you're free of using marijuana, imagine how much time that you can have, how much resources now you could have accumulated, how many skills you could have accumulated. You can really, for example, in solution number 5, you can become curious about who you could become, the best version of yourself, if you weren't addicted to marijuana, if you didn't have a very bad habit with marijuana using all the time, which takes up your time and your energy, and it takes time to find it and use it and hide it, and etc. So you could become um, much better version of yourself for sure, without marijuana use. So this is these are just briefly going over just a quick example of how to, you know think about some of these solutions, how to change your mindset. Okay, because these internal changes inside of you will definitely have a strong and lasting impact on you, and help you as well to prevent this problem from becoming bigger and greater, and will help you to get out of this problem. So again, one of the action items, besides for reflecting on these points and trying to instill it within yourself. So, and the way you do that, by the way, is that every time you encounter uh, a choice between pleasure and peace, you now stop and think, you know and you try to be more wise about it. You try to give preference to your peace. The more and more you practice these mindsets, the stronger they will be instilled within you, the more feedback you will be giving yourself and strengthening it, so that it's always going to be, it's going to become your default mode of thinking. Okay, so accepting the reality uh, you know will lessen the will lessen the emotional difficulty in many many situations, right? So it'll help you to make a smarter and wiser choice when you just accept the reality. So these types of mindsets, whenever you can practice them, whenever you see the opportunity to practice them in your life, then you practice them, then you bring them to mind and you try to practice them. And slowly, 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 you will start to think differently and feel differently. And when you feel differently, you will act differently. Okay. And in order to practice uh, the fifth one, right, to become curious about how you could become, you can do that thing where you put the timer, which I mentioned, put the timer on, and reflect on your life as each second goes by. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Reflect on each one of those seconds as if they were when you were 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old, 4 year old, 5 year old, 6 year old, and so on, until you get to your current age, and then press pause. Okay. And then reflect back on how your life has been and how long that felt, right? Those seconds passing, how quickly they passed, and you're at your current moment. And then press play again, and the timer will go on until 65 seconds or 70 seconds. And you imagine that the years are going up, and imagine what you would be doing in those years, right? Become curious and reflect on what you could become, what you could accomplish, what you can do, how you can be helpful and useful, and establish a great relationship with God and people. Okay, so think about it, each one of those years, how you would spend them. And it's a quick thing, obviously, because the seconds will be rolling by quickly. But there's a powerful lesson in seeing how short life really is. That itself will bring motivation within you, right? It'll bring motivation within you to value time and to become curious about what you can become and accomplish, and trying uh, you know to follow that curiosity immediately, rather than putting it off to tomorrow, as there is no, if you put it off to tomorrow, then you'll never get to it, right? So this is a very practical thing that you can do. You shouldn't just do it once, but do it over and over again. Do it 3 times minimum in a row, and see how it will automatically motivate you. And this is just a small, like, beginner meditation, you can say, right? That is going to have an impact on you, and you'll see. And it's kind of like getting you used to doing some of these meditations, and you'll see later on in the course they will be in much more even powerful meditation. Though this can be actually even more powerful, depends on how it affects you. But they will be a little bit longer meditation, where you will engage your imagination even more, and that will have a strong, powerful effect on your motivation as well. So for now, this is the first obstacle that you have to rearrange your mindset and thinking around. And you can use this practical tool of timing, using the timer and meditating over the years of your life, in order to become curious about how you can spend this short life in the best way possible. Okay. Um, and how your curiosity has harmed you in the past. Okay. So I'll leave it off here, and I'll see you now in the next section, God willing. All right.